Albania rises from the Adriatic with a sort of quiet magnetism. Ancient mountains, olive groves, centuries-old stone towns, and a people whose identity has been shaped by both division and unity. In this land, beneath a seemingly homogeneous exterior, dwell stories of dialects and clans, of shifting borders and minority communities, of emigrants returning to roots and foreigners discovering new homes. At its heart are the major groups, internal subdivisions, ethnic minorities, and the diaspora, each weaving their own strand into the national tapestry. The mountains remember Geg songs, the south hears the soft tones of Tosk speech, by the border you'll see Greek and Macedonian names, and in coastal towns a growing presence of returnees and expatriates. To understand modern Albania, and why people come to live here, you have to know its peoples, their movement, their history, and how houses are bought along the way. The northern Albanians, the Geg, or Gegs, occupy the rugged highlands, the tight valleys and peaks of Albania's northern reaches. Their world was long one of clan ties, of customary law, the kanun, and strong local autonomy. For centuries, central authority found it difficult to enforce its will there. Mountain passes served as both protection and barrier. The Geg dialect evolved with distinctive phonetic and lexical twists from its southern counterpart, preserving a sense of separateness even as political unification swept across Albania. In Geg lands, agriculture was marginal, infrastructure sparse, opportunities constrained. Thus many young people migrated toward cities, to the lowlands, or abroad in search of opportunity. Over generations, waves of migration depleted many mountain villages, houses deteriorated, villages became ghostly in winter. Yet the pull of home remains potent. Some who left decades ago have returned, investing in ancestral homes, converting ruins into guest houses, or reviving local festivals. Their presence draws others, students, artists, urban professionals, interested in cooler air, rugged beauty, and reconnection with heritage. The southern Albanians, the Tosks, inhabit the gentle hills, river valleys, and coastal plains of the south. Their dialect is closer to what is now Standard Albanian, and historically their lands were more connected to the rest of the Mediterranean, by trade, migration, Byzantine influence, and later Ottoman roads. That access fostered earlier urbanization, greater exposure to external ideas and commerce, and more integration with official state structures. During the ascension of the communist movement, many leaders and cadres came from Tosk regions, which helped entrench southern influence in state institutions. Yet, even here, life in remote villages meant limited opportunities. Younger generations flowed toward towns and cities. Some moved to Tirana or Durrës, others ventured abroad. But later, many returned. In the South's gentle climate, coastal horizon, and slower pace, returnees and newcomers find homes, inns, olive groves, or seaside flats. The South offers a blend of rooted tradition and outward openness. Scattered within and at the margins live Albania's ethnic minorities, the Vlachs, or Aromanians, Greeks, Macedonians, Roma, and other small communities. The Vlachs speak a Romance tongue related to Romanian. Many have long been pastoralists or traders, moving with flocks across hills. Over time, many settled and blended with Albanian communities, though in certain villages the language, traditional dress, and customs persist. Some Vlachs migrate to cities for schooling or employment. Some move abroad to Romania or Greece. Some return later in life to the village where ancestors grazed flocks. The Greek minority clusters in the south, close to the border with Greece, in towns such as Sarande and Himare and parts of Gjirokastër. There, you will find bilingual signage, Greek language schools, churches, and families who hold dual identities. Many from this community move across the border for work or education. Some maintain summer homes in Albania, others settle permanently abroad. The Macedonian minority is smaller, found near the eastern border in places like Pustek, Likanes. They speak Slavic dialects and maintain links to communities across the border. Some migrate to North Macedonia or further afield seeking jobs or education. The Roma communities, located in various parts of the country, often face economic marginalization. Migration for many is a necessity, seeking work in construction, services, or abroad. These minority populations are small in number compared to ethnic Albanians, but their presence adds texture, a reminder that modern states often overlay ancient patchworks of language and culture. Then there is the returnee and expatriate dimension. In the early 1990s, Albania erupted with emigration. Freed from the restraints of a collapsing communist regime, thousands departed for Greece, Italy, Germany, Switzerland, the Americas, chasing jobs, freedom, opportunity. That diaspora built networks, remitted funds, and retained links to home. Decades later, as Albania stabilized and modernized, some of these emigrants, or their children, returned. They brought savings, foreign experience, and a desire to invest in homeland. Some acquired coast view apartments, renovated family homes in villages, or opened boutique guesthouses. More recently, foreign nationals, digital nomads, retirees, remote workers, investors, have discovered Albania's low cost of living, Mediterranean climate, cultural richness, and hidden landscapes. They buy property, settle in coastal towns or old historic centers, and start new lives. Their presence shifts local markets, often raising property demand, revitalizing villages, and diversifying communities. To fully appreciate the story of movement and identity, you must see it against the sweep of history. Long before the Gag-Tosk divide, the region was home to Illyrian tribes. These pre-Roman peoples, Talanti, Ardiae, Enchile among them, inhabited much of what is modern Albania. Then came the Romans, building roads like the Via Egnatia and merging locals into the empire's fold. In the south, Hellenic influence penetrated early via coastal trade. After Rome's fall, the region passed among Byzantines, Slavs, Bulgarians, Normans, and more, before local Albanian principalities began to assert themselves. The renowned national hero Skanderbeg in the 15th century led much of Albania in resistance to Ottoman conquest. His legacy still resonates in song and monument. Ottoman rule, once established, lasted centuries. Under the Ottomans, Islam spread, new administrative systems took hold, land was restructured, and the Albanian people navigated a plurality of identities. In the 19th century, the Albanian national awakening emerged, an assertion that this disparate land of dialects and religions could claim unity through language and culture. Then in 1912 Albania declared independence, yet struggled in its early decades with border disputes, foreign occupation, and the challenge of forging national unity. Fascist Italy invaded in 1939. World War II saw Albania under Italian and German occupation and local resistance movements, some organized along regional or cultural lines. After the war, the communist regime under Enver Hoxha assumed power, suppressing religion, centralizing power, dismantling clan authority, and imposing severe controls over movement, land, and speech. Many traditional structures were erased or forced underground. Then in 1990, as communism collapsed, Albania erupted in economic and social upheaval, and mass emigration followed as people sought refuge, work, or new futures abroad. Over the ensuing decades Albania slowly rebuilt, opening to markets, infrastructure, tourism, investment, and rebuilding ties with its diaspora. In this unfolding grand arc, the major groups of Albania shifted, adapted, and in many ways converged. The decisions to move or to stay, among Gag or Tosk domains, minority or majority, returnee or foreigner, are shaped by push and pull forces. In remote mountain villages of Gag lands, the push is strong. Limited job prospects, weak infrastructure, small markets, young people leaving in droves. In the south, certain rural areas still suffer neglect, driving internal migration. For minority communities, subtler pressures, lower social inclusion, educational gaps, border proximity, add to the economic motives. Meanwhile, the pull factors are compelling. Cities and coastal zones promise better jobs, amenities, connectivity. The coast whispers of tourism potential, rental income, sea breezes. For diaspora Albanians, return means reconnecting with land, family, identity. For expatriates, Albania offers affordability, room to breathe, and the chance to live somewhere off the beaten track but still European. Real estate, in particular, acts as both draw and barrier. It gives roots to newcomers, but rising prices can push locals out or restrict access. What do houses cost, in dollars? Recent data report that in Albania, average prices range roughly from €500 to €5,000 per square meter, depending heavily on location, view, condition, legal status, and infrastructure. Converting to USD, assuming about €1 equals $1.10 that means roughly $550 to $5,500 per square meter. In Tirana's center, apartments commonly sell for €1,200 to €2,700 per square meter, i.e. around $1,320 to $2,970 per square meter. Along the coast in Sarande, seaview properties often fetch €1,500 to €3,500 per square meter, which is approximately $1,650 to $3,850 per square meter. In Vlora, coastal properties may go for €900 to €1,500 per square meter, about $990 to $1,650 per square meter, with inland houses somewhat lower, e.g. €700 to €1,000 per square meter, approximately equals $770 to $1,100 per square meter. In Durrës, apartments near the sea may fetch €800 to €1,300 per square meter, approximately equals $880 to $1,430 per square meter, while suburban or less central spots might run €600 to €900 per square meter, approximately equals $660 to $990 per square meter. In deep rural or mountainous interior areas, prices can be far lower, perhaps under €500 per square meter, i.e. under $550 per square meter, though condition, legality, and infrastructure often vary sharply. To give concrete examples, an 80 square meters apartment in central Tirana, at $1,500 per m squared, mid-range, would cost $120,000. A coastal 80 square meters apartment in Sarande at $2,000 per m squared is $160,000. A rural house in the interior of 120 square meters at $700 per m squared would be $84,000. A more upscale 4-bedroom in suburban or prime area, say 150 square meters at $1,775 per m squared, converted from €1,775, would come to around $266,250. These are illustrative. Actual cost depends on condition, legal documentation, infrastructure, sea or city views, and title status. These property figures influence migration and settlement choices. For someone returning from abroad with savings, acquiring a modest house in a geg village might be quite affordable. But in coastal or city zones, competition is stiffer, prices rise, and newcomers, diaspora or foreigners, often absorb the premium. Locals in urban cores must balance price with centrality. Many end up on fringes or suburbs. In minority or border areas, property markets may be limited, so choices are narrower and due diligence more critical. The relatively low cost of real estate, compared to many Western nations, is a powerful pull factor for those looking for homes, holiday residences, or investment opportunities. It gives entry to those who might never afford comparable property in Western Europe or North America. Thus, the story of Albania is not just one of segments or labels, but of flows. People from geg hills to city lofts, from southern olive groves to coastal flats, From diaspora homes back to ancestral villages, from abroad into Albanian towns. Every migration shifts the balance. A village regains life. A house is restored, a local business opens, new cross-cultural interaction emerges. For the viewer considering Albania, whether as a traveler, a future resident, or simply an admirer, the real draw lies in this human movement. Identity meeting opportunity, history meeting hope, geography meeting belonging. Like and subscribe for good luck.